There are many theories to explain how a chemical reaction occurs. One such theory is collision theory of chemical reaction. What does this collision theory says about? It tells us about how a chemical reaction occurs. The first assumption about collision theory is that we consider the reactant molecule as hard spheres. We will not go into the structural aspect of the reactant molecules, but we consider the reactant molecules to be a hard sphere. The first thing that takes place in a chemical reaction is the collision between the reactant molecules. The reactant molecules collide. When a reactant molecule collides, what happens? It forms an activated complex. What is an activated complex? It's an unstable intermediate. It's an unstable intermediate. It is neither reactant nor product. It's unstable. It has a very short life. It decomposes to form products. So, according to collision theory, first thing, the collision between the reactant molecule should occur. When the reactant molecule collide, they form an unstable intermediate, and this unstable intermediate is known as the activated complex. It has a very short life. It decomposes to form products. But not all molecular collisions will be effective. That is, not all molecular collision will lead to the formation of products. Only those molecular collision which forms products are known as effective collisions. What are the conditions for effective collisions? There are two main conditions for a collision to be effective. The first condition is that the colliding molecules or the reactant molecules should possess certain minimum kinetic energy. So, the first condition is that all the colliding molecule should have a certain minimum kinetic energy, and the second condition is that they should collide with proper orientation. So, in short, the two main conditions for any collisions to be effective are: first thing, minimum kinetic energy; second thing, proper orientation. Whenever any chemical reaction takes place, first thing, there will be a breaking of an old bond and there will be formation of a new bond. Where do we get the energy for the breaking of the bond? This energy is obtained from the kinetic energy possessed by the reactant molecules. The minimum energy that the reactant molecule should possess in order to form products upon collision is known as the threshold energy. I'll just come again. The minimum energy that the normal reactant molecule should possess in order to form products upon collision is known as the threshold energy. Not all molecules will have this threshold energy. Only those molecules which possess this threshold energy will form products upon collision. You have another important concept known as energy of activation. Energy of activation is defined as the minimum excess energy. The minimum excess energy that the reactant molecule should possess in order to form activated complex or in order to attain threshold energy upon collision is known as energy of activation. Energy of activation is defined as the minimum excess energy that the reactant molecule should possess in order to form products upon collision is called energy of activation. It can be represented by an energy profile diagram as shown. I plot potential energy along y-axis and reaction coordinate along x-axis. The nature of the curve will be in this way, where this is the energy possessed by the reactants. The reactant molecule which possess this activation energy or threshold energy will collide and form an energy rich unstable intermediate known as the activated complex, and this activated complex will decompose to form products. And if you can observe here, this is the normal energy that the reactant molecule possesses, and this gives the threshold energy, and this minimum excess energy that the normal reactant molecule should possess in order to form activated complex or in order to attain threshold energy is known as energy of activation, and it is represented by E subscript A. And from this graph it is clear that threshold energy is equal to the normal energy plus the energy of activation. Collision theory has certain drawbacks. As I told you before, in collision theory we will not consider the structural aspects of the reactant molecules. The reactant molecules are just considered as hard spheres, and this becomes the drawback, one of the major drawback of this theory. We had discussed in the earlier classes that temperature is one of the factors that affects the rate of a chemical reaction. How does temperature affect the rate of a chemical reaction? It has been observed that as the temperature increases, the rate of a chemical reaction also increases. It has been experimentally proved that if you just increase the temperature by 10 degrees centigrade or 10 Kelvin, the rate of a reaction increases by 2 to 3 times. That is, if you just increase the temperature by 10 degrees centigrade, the rate of a reaction either doubles or triples. Now, if I consider the rate constant at two different temperatures, let us assume that K T plus 10 and Kt are the rate constant at two different temperature, T and T plus 10 Kelvin. And if you observe here, the temperature is differing by 10 Kelvin. Then the ratio of rate constant at two different temperature and the temperature differing by 10 Kelvin is known as temperature coefficient of a reaction. How do you define temperature coefficient of a reaction? It is the ratio of rate constant at two different temperature and the temperature differing by 10 Kelvin. Here Kt plus 10 is the rate constant at a temperature T plus 10 Kelvin and Kt is the rate constant at temperature T. And it has been observed that this ratio is approximately equal to 2 or 3. That is, if I increase the temperature by just 10 Kelvin, the rate of reaction either doubles or triples. Why should the rate of a reaction increase with the increase in temperature? The temperature dependence of the rate of a chemical reaction is given by Arrhenius equation. Arrhenius equation is given by K is equal to A e to the power of minus Ea by RT, where K is nothing but the rate constant Ea is nothing but the energy of activation Ea is energy of activation, which we have defined earlier. R is the universal gas constant. T is the temperature. And A is nothing but Arrhenius factor. A is the Arrhenius factor, or it is also known as pre-exponential factor. And this Arrhenius factor or frequency factor gives the frequency of binary collision of the reactant molecules per second per liter. It gives the frequency of binary collision of the reactant molecules per second per liter. And if you look into this factor minus EA by RT, it gives the number of molecules which forms products upon collision, or in other words, minus EA by RT gives the fraction of molecule possessing threshold energy. Why should the rate of a chemical reaction increase when the temperature of the reaction is increased? We all know that for any chemical reaction to occur, the first thing that happens is the collision between the reactant molecules. If the reactant molecules has sufficient kinetic energy, then they colloid, form activated complex, and then they form the products. That is, there is a breaking of a bond and the formation of a new bond. The energy that is required for the breaking of the bond is obtained from the kinetic energy of the reactant molecules. The distribution of kinetic energy among the reactant molecules is represented with the help of a graph by plotting fraction of molecule possessing a particular kinetic energy along y-axis and kinetic energy along x-axis. The nature of the curve is as shown, and this peak represents the most probable kinetic energy. What is the most probable kinetic energy? It is the kinetic energy possessed by the maximum fraction of the molecules. So, this most probable kinetic energy is the kinetic energy possessed by the maximum fraction of the molecules. When I increase the temperature by just 10 degrees centigrade, what will be the nature of the curve? The graph of fraction of molecules possessing a particular kinetic energy versus kinetic energy at two different temperature is as shown. It is clearly observed that when I increase the temperature by 10 Kelvin, the graph or the most probable kinetic energy shift towards right side. That is, the kinetic energy of the reactant molecules increases, or the most probable kinetic energy increases. In the same way, if I observe here, this is the fraction of molecules that is reacting at T Kelvin, or this is the number of molecule possessing threshold energy at T Kelvin. If I just increase the temperature by 10 degrees centigrade or 10 Kelvin, this is the addition number of molecules that is possessing threshold energy, and it has been experimentally proved that this number of molecules or the addition number of molecules possessing this threshold energy either doubles or triples. That is, the number of molecules possessing threshold energy doubles or triples. If the number of molecules possessing the threshold energy doubles or triples, then the number of effective collision also doubles or triples. If the number of effective collision doubles or triples, then the rate of a reaction also increases by 2 to 3 times. That is, whenever the temperature is increased by 10 Kelvin, the number of reactant molecule possessing the energy of activation or threshold energy increases by 2 to 3 times. Thereby, the number of effective collision also increases by 2 to 3 times, and thereby the rate of a reaction also increases by 2 to 3 times. We know that Arrhenius equation is given by K is equal to A into e to the power of minus EA by RT, where K is the rate constant, A is the Arrhenius factor, EA is the energy of activation, R is the universal gas constant, T is the temperature. And this factor, as I have mentioned earlier, e to the power of minus EA by RT gives the fraction of molecules having kinetic energy greater than energy of activation, or these are the fraction of molecule that can easily form products upon collision. Now, if I take natural logarithm on both sides to this equation, then I get ln k is equal to ln a into e to the power of minus Ea by RT. Here, this is of the form log a into b, and we all know that log a into b is given by log a into b will be equal to log a plus log b. Therefore, I write it as ln a plus ln e to the power of minus Ea by RT. And if you observe here, this is of the form log a to the power of x, and we all know that log a to the power of x is x log a. Therefore, this becomes minus Ea by RT ln e, and we all know that ln e to base e will be equal to 1. Therefore, this equation becomes ln k is equal to ln a minus Ea by RT. This equation ln k is equal to ln a minus Ea by RT represents the equation of a straight line y is equal to minus mx plus c. Now, if I plot ln k along y axis, ln k is plotted along y axis and 1 by t is plotted along x axis, then I get a straight line with a negative slope. So, the nature of the curve will be a straight line with a negative slope. If I extend the straight line to y axis, it will cut the y axis at some point, and the y intercept of this straight line gives ln a. So, the y intercept gives you ln a, and if I calculate the slope of this straight line, then it gives minus Ea by r. Therefore, graphically you can calculate the energy of activation by plotting ln k along y axis and 1 over t along x axis. We know that Arrhenius equation is given by ln k is equal to ln a minus Ea by RT. Now, let us assume that K1 and K2 are the rate constant at two different temperature T1 and T2. Then ln K1 will be equal to ln A minus Ea by RT1. This is Arrhenius equation at temperature T1. Similarly, at temperature T2, K2 will be the rate constant, and Arrhenius equation becomes ln K2 is equal to ln A minus Ea by RT2. Now, I will subtract this equation from this equation. Then what happens? Ln K2 minus K1, that is ln K2 minus K1, ln A and ln A get cancelled, minus Ea by RT2 minus of minus Ea by RT1. We know that ln K2 minus ln K1 is of the form log A minus log B, which is equal to log A by B. Therefore, left hand side becomes ln K2 by K1, that is equal to Ea by RT1 minus Ea by RT2. Here Ea and R are common. I just take it out as common, then this equation becomes Ea by R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. I just take the LCM, it becomes T2 minus T1 by T1 T2, that is ln K2 by K1 is equal to Ea by R into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. Now I convert this into base 10. If I want to convert this into base 10, I need to multiply the LHS by 2.303. So converting to base 10, this equation finally becomes log to base 10 of K2 by K1 is equal to EA by 2.303 into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2, and this is another form of Arrhenius equation. I had mentioned you before that catalyst is one of the factor that affects the rate of a chemical reaction. First thing, what is a catalyst? A catalyst is a substance which alters the rate of a chemical reaction. A positive catalyst will increase the rate of a chemical reaction and a negative catalyst will decrease the rate of a chemical reaction. Now we will study the effect of positive catalyst on the rate of a chemical reaction. Whenever a reaction takes place in the presence of a catalyst, the rate of a reaction increases. Why should the rate of a chemical reaction increase in the presence of a catalyst? In the presence of a catalyst, the reaction will follow an alternate path in which the energy of activation will be less. That is, in the presence of a catalyst, the reaction will follow the path where the activation energy decreases. When the activation energy decreases, the number of molecules possessing this activation energy increases. If the number of molecules possessing activation energy increases, then the number of effective collision also increases. When the number of effective collision increases, then the rate of a reaction also increases, and this can be explained by using an energy profile diagram as shown. This is the energy profile diagram for the reaction in the presence of a catalyst and in the absence of a catalyst. I have taken potential energy along y-axis and reaction coordinate is plotted along x-axis. There are two curves, one in the absence of a catalyst and the other in the presence of a catalyst. You can clearly observe that in the presence of a catalyst, the reaction is following an alternate path in which the energy of activation is less. Since the energy of activation is less, what happens? The number of reactant molecule possessing this energy of activation will be more, and thereby the number of effective collision will also be more, and thereby the rate of a reaction increases. We can just take an example. Let us assume that you are present on one side of a hill and you are supposed to move to the other side of a hill. To move to the other side of a hill, you are supposed to climb this hill and get down, and to climb this hill and to get down you require certain energy. And now let us assume that there is a tunnel that is dug in the hill. Now what happens? The amount of energy required by you people to cross this hill will decrease because you are following an alternate path. Thereby your speed also increases and the time taken decreases. In the same way, in the presence of a catalyst, the reaction is following an alternate path where the energy of activation is less. Clearly, you can observe here the energy of activation EA dash, that is energy of activation in the presence of a catalyst is less when compared to the energy of activation in the absence of a catalyst, thereby the rate of a reaction also increases. Moving on to the problem. For the reaction R gives P, the concentration of a reaction changes from 0.03 molar to 0.02 molar in 25 minutes. Calculate the average rate of this reaction. Now, if you observe here, the reaction is given, that is R gives P, and two different concentrations are given at a time interval of 25 minutes. The concentration was 0.03 molar. It has reduced to 0.02 molar and the time taken is 25 minutes. Now you are supposed to calculate the average rate. First, look into the equation. It is R gives P. Now, the rate of this reaction is given by rate is equal to minus dR by dt, where dR is the change in the concentration of the reactant R, and negative sign indicates that we are representing the rate with respect to the reactant, and dt is small interval of time. What is the change in concentration? It can be obtained by subtracting 0.02 from 0.03. So, the numerator, that is change in concentration, will be equal to minus, you have a negative sign here, therefore minus of final concentration is 0.02, 0.02 minus the initial concentration was 0.03 divided by the time interval, that is 25 minutes. This will be equal to minus of minus 0.01 divided by 25, that will be equal to plus 0.01 divided by 25. If I calculate this, the answer will be 0.0004. And coming to the units, we know that rate is given by mole per dm cube per time, and in this case, since time is expressed in terms of minute, the unit will be mole per dm cube per minute. Now, if you want to calculate the units in terms of seconds, then you are supposed to multiply denominator by 60, so that the unit will be in terms of seconds.